Hi, I'm Daz Woolley with an interim report on the web marketing campaign lowercarb.life. This is an information campaign promoting the idea of lowering carbohydrate in everyday foods to improve blood glucose readings for diabetics. The campaign goal has been kept purposely simple to provide info on best ingredient choices for lowering carb content, along with recipes, meal ideas, snacks, and inspiration to help both diabetics and non-diabetics alike. The science behind low carb has been referenced in basic form on the website, but it's not a focus of this campaign. Looking back at our stated SMART goals, the final column of this table states it plainly. On the website, lowering bounce rate as much as possible and improving dwell times is our goal. The MailChimp-based EDM goal is to obtain 20 to 30 subscribers, while on Facebook 50 to 100 followers, similarly on Instagram 50 to 100, and Twitter somewhere between 40 and 80. As the home of the campaign, the website is the actual name, lowercarb.life, and the primary place to find information, especially the blog posts. These blog posts are the most important element of the site, and the additional pages have been kept to a minimum with an informative landing page, a science-based page regarding why we should lower our carb, and an About Us page. All other pages at this time are blog pages with 2 created per campaign week. The website, designed in WordPress, uses a well-designed modular theme called Materialis, which provides dozens of content blocks for variety and consistency. These content blocks simplify construction of the site and make it easy to create the multiple panel vertical style. They also allow content to be reordered easily vertically within any page in order to refine the site in response to campaign feedback. As described earlier, the site has a simple, relatively flat site structure with only 4 main pages. This means those pages can all be referenced in one flat menu without the need for drop-downs. That menu, with just 4 buttons, is constrained within a very simple navigation bar fixed to the top of the page even when scrolling, which means controls are obvious to the user at all times and easily accessible. Also, the current page is always reversed out in the menu bar so the user knows which page they're on. The site is populated through with visually rich food images, similar in style to what is generally popular on social media spaces like Instagram, and all images are chosen to reflect the style and create a consistent upmarket look. For the text content of the site, clear, easy to read headings sum up the topics below so the reader can assess level of interest. The text itself is friendly in tone and easy to understand so the reader doesn't feel overwhelmed with detail. This aligns with the goal of this site to be reader-friendly, focused on simple food approach and not too heavy on complex science. External links are provided to more information for those who wish to read more. For ease of access, social media icons appear at the top and bottom of the site in fixed bars to make them easy to find and recognise. A simple responsive design works on all sizes, from desktop to mobile, utilising appropriate navigation styles for each. And the newsletter subscription call to action buttons appear on each page, and this means there are multiple sign-up points throughout the site. The latest news panel shows the last 6 blog posts with image and text previews, and as these are very much the living content of the site, they change regularly as new items are posted and hopefully attract more viewers. After A/B testing, this panel was moved higher on the front page. Finally, throughout the site, call to action buttons of various sorts are clear and easy to read. An earlier A/B plugin was used to A/B test versions of the front page. The intent here was simple: change up the call to action buttons to use less formal and more exciting text. The original shown top right was check our blog, the revised version was let's get inspired. Unfortunately, Neilio was not able to change certain aspects of the site and caused some visual inconsistencies and problems. Nothing terrible, but did mean that some of the image overlays were not as readable as they may have been, and also the actual newsletter sign up button could not be changed using Neilio, so I had to rely on changing the text around it and hoping that it had as good as effect. Heat maps were examined, but while interesting visually, in this case offered no clues to user behaviour. As can be seen from these results, over time there was a slight advantage to the B version, but nothing that was absolutely obvious. To avoid technical problems, I ended up cancelling the test after 2 weeks and redoing the changes manually within the original page to include more of those evocative buttons and text that I had included in the B version. DDD300019 plugin for Google Analytics was installed, and the appropriate links and code for analytics set up and installed on the site as well. The reporting for analytics is very complex and will take some time to get to understand and be able to act more clearly on. What I could tell was that dwell times were low at first, but increasing as more content appeared on the site as expected, and at the end of week 3 there were an average of 2.41 pages per session and a session duration of 2 minutes 25 seconds. Bounce rate literally bounced around during the campaign, but with an average of 53.45%. This seemed to go lower as new blog posts were promoted, as expected. The number of visitors and pages visited also peaked in the day after posting blog post and promoting it on social media. 2/3 of the visitors to the site were seen as new or not returning visitors, showing the gradual build of the social media channel exposure. At the end of week 3 overall, we're on track for campaign goals. Focusing on page followers, Facebook has already crossed the desired minimum of 54, Instagram is already approaching the desired maximum goal of 100, and Twitter's on track just past the minimum of 42. Instagram's performed very well. I initially featured images heavy with text overlays, but noticed that the less or no text versions were performing better. Over the 3-week period of the campaign so far, a mix of original and shared posts has seen a steady rise in followers, so clearly the strategy is working overall. As can be seen here, I created more visually rich images, mostly without text or just a short question or tease, and engagement numbers for top posts increased between week 2 and 3. Similarly for comments and likes, with some fairly substantial top post rising numbers between those 2 weeks. While interactions remain similar, possibly even dropping slightly in week 3, this could be due to a paid campaign that was conducted in week 2, which substantially boosted numbers. Overall, week 3 is probably more indicative of a usual week without a boosted campaign. Audience is rising steadily and quickly from week to week, and that trial promotion was successful in raising reach, but it did not create substantial discovery. If anything, it's probably more successful in exposing the campaign to more potential followers. As noted elsewhere in the social media stats, audience is fairly consistently based on the eastern seaboard of Australia, 60% plus female, and generally younger, around 18 to 40. If another paid post was attempted, a better and clearer call to action would be made, as I felt that this one didn't work that well in boosting engagement. Facebook page follows and likes have been pleasantly rising too, and have responded to 2 calls amongst friends and family to support the campaign. Otherwise, there's been a certain amount of organic follows as well from overall campaign exposure. Reach has at times been substantial according to Facebook's reporting, however engagement via likes and comments has still been low. Facebook is clearly more difficult to get engagement from than Instagram. Of the dozens of posts, it's hard to determine an exact pattern in what's popular with Facebook. Showed sequentially from latest to earliest in this group of top 12 posts show engagement versus reach, indicating that reach does not in any way improve engagement across this set. Interestingly, the only non-video static post, reshare, in this group, 4th from the bottom, also scored the highest engagement by 1 point. And then the only video so far, which was also a reshare, scored a higher than average reach than most of the posts. Only 2 other non-promoted posts in this list scored higher reach. A paid post was attempted in week 2 and reflected similar audience, location, gender and age mix as the Instagram post. Interestingly, the insights also show that this post almost exclusively appeared on Instagram rather than Facebook. Checking the post in Instagram, the likes are huge at 152. This is only accessible from the likes button list, not the post list, and is listed as a promo post even though it was never promoted directly on Instagram. Similar to Instagram, more care needs to be taken in understanding the exact goals when creating paid posts, a lesson well learned. At the end of week 3, Twitter has passed the minimum goal and is also ticking along nicely. While Twitter analytics is very deep in complexity, it's hard to know what to make of a lot of it. It's easy to see that a lot of people can have your tweets appear in their feed, but it doesn't mean they'll interact with them. Although I've managed to get 87 likes, 10 retweets, but on an astounding impression number of 48,500. I'd like to get more engagement with a couple of influencers to give another boost to Twitter. And as shown here, the top 2 tweets for engagement were retweets of a popular influencer, and probably brought in more followers as well. This is a clear strategy to boost engagement and numbers. The MailChimp EDMs are easy and fun to devise, and over the first 3 weeks of the campaign I've refined the tone and language in these to be very much a teaser for the blog. So far, discounting my own email addresses added in test mode, I have about 16 real followers, some friends and family and some obtained through the campaign itself. This is reasonably on track for the campaign goal. This list of EDM responses so far reveals that on average about 2/3 of the audience open the emails, but probably only about 10 to 15% actually click through. Overall, I'm happy with where this campaign is at week 3. Google Analytics reveals modest website dwell times and bounce rate, which could be improved through continual growth and quality of content. SEO effectiveness does seem low at this point, although even according to Yoast analysis, I'm ticking most of the boxes on the technical side when I'm writing the pages. I may need to refine keyword phrase selection, however the short length of the campaign doesn't allow much time to learn such a complex process. Efforts on social media have increased traffic to the site, but most of all have increased engagement on those platforms generally. Further refinement of calls to action in social media is needed to drive more users to the site. A/B testing was about calls to action, and while it was neutral in response overall, I did see some benefit in making some changes to calls to actions to make them a little bit more exciting. I'd like to test a pop-up sign-up box on the site to see if that increases sign-up rates amongst visitors. Broadly, my social media platforms are meeting their goals, and continued refinement of tone, visual content, and effective methods of driving users to the website are the ongoing challenges for this campaign during the last weeks. A mix of different visual styles is also important in maintaining a variety of approach to try to gather people who respond to different types of image rather than just targeting one type. In regards to SEO, I believe I'm applying it reasonably. In regards to blog posts, however, as stated previously, it's a complex area to understand and achieve status in, and this campaign is very short. Thank you for joining me for this interim report. Campaign's progressing reasonably well and on track at this time. Thank you.